Hey, it's good to see you. Recently, I went to Adepticon, and I brought this with me. I think it needs more. For one, I want to focus on a base.
Hold on,
and some other little
stop the footage. So this was actually a couple months ago, and I felt like there was so much I wanted to say, and there is. Adepticon was a really special trip for me. I met so many incredible people. I got to meet my online friends. I got to make new friends. I got to see so much incredible art, and I walked away from Adepticon with an abundance of inspiration and creativity. There was also Pokemon themed Mech 28. And we had fully intended on playing that first night, but we all kind of just ended up hanging out and socializing and talking about each other's work and what we had going on and relaxing and having a good time. And that was really special. A couple days later, everyone ended up playing. I had already gone home, so I passed my mech on to Nick from Niche Crafts, who didn't have a mech, and he played in my stead, and I asked him to give my mech away to someone random. Nick is also an incredible sculptor, so go check his stuff out. My friend Trent from Miscast and I kind of egged each other on to build big walking structures to fight Mech 28 style. And it was so much fun. I ended up winning because I slapped the little frog butt to death and then threw him into his own vomit. It was pretty cool. When I got home, I decided to make a base for the cathedral to make it feel like a finished project, but it just didn't. It didn't feel like a good enough conclusion to how incredible the event was. It just didn't feel like the right place to close on. So I just kept making stuff for the cathedral, making stuff that I could put on it, learning how to 3D model. And then Trent and I decided that our walking house fight could have really used some specialty rules. So we made Hex 28, a arcane shooter with big walking structures and mounting and dismounting and fun spells. Hex 28 just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we made so much cool art and specialty rules, and I even ended up making models after I learned how to 3D sculpt. And it's free on itch.io, so I'll leave a link to that below so you can check it out and maybe make a big walking house and play it. I don't know, it'd be cool. Please. And to get the models made, I traveled all the way to the UK to Ramshackle Games. Well, I didn't just go for the models. I also went to see friends and make new ones and learn cool things and also go to Mates and Minis. And while I was there, I built another walking house because I can't stop. I think it came out pretty cool. Curtis taught me how to mold and cast, and I got to watch Pablo from the StillTower make some incredible minis and work alongside him and see so much of his work. There was also Mates and Minis, which was such a cool event where a bunch of creators just got together and made stuff, and there was a huge table with so much stuff, bins upon bins to kit bash from. I got to see one of my models be kit bashed for the first time, and it sounds weird to be like, I'm so happy my creation was cut up, but honestly it was really special for me because I look at other people's kit bashes and I can recognize bits and pieces from my friends' work and other work from artists that I deeply respect, and I can notice their stuff inside of it, and it was cool to see my pieces being used. So that was really special to me. Thanks to whoever made that. Monk ended up making 2 giant tonks to surprise Ben, and I got to watch him making that, and it felt like the longest lead up to the funniest joke. And we got to watch a giant battle of tonks, and it was so cool and so fun. when Mates and Minis was over, my caster models for Hex were finally done 3D printing, and we got to mold and cast those, and it was so cool seeing my digital files become a real thing and holding them and seeing them and getting to paint them.
I got a little moon dude.
Lex Levels was also there, learning how to mold and cast, and honestly it was so comforting to have someone there that was also learning alongside me, and she made some really killer minis that I'm very happy to have. Also, Lex is like one of the funniest people I've ever met. And now you can get my models at Ramshackle, and I'm so excited about that. I promise I'm not trying to show you a product, I'm just really proud.
I have so many people to thank for making this experience so memorable and fun. A big thanks to Curtis for being so welcoming and willing to teach me how to mold and cast, and obviously Trent for making this crazy walking structure, arcane magic game with me. And also a huge thanks to Berserker Works Bill for allowing us to make a hack of Mech 28. I'll also add how to get Mech 28 down into the description.
And just like that, my trip to the UK was over. And honestly, it was really sad to go home because the creative energy there and the passion everyone has for the hobby is so addictive to be around. But I left very fulfilled and very happy to have met so many incredible people and see so much amazing work, and to have my dream of having my own minis become like a real thing was so cool. I hear a lot of people say that they don't think they'd be good at something and that's why they haven't tried it, or they're afraid that they'd make something bad. And I've always kind of gone in the creative direction of don't be afraid to make what you want. Make what you love regardless. And I've always loved tabletop stuff, and I've always loved minis and cool RPG games. And I realized I was not living by my own advice, because previously I was very intimidated by minis. They're so small and so detailed, and they don't follow the same rules as a large structure, and how deep things need to be for them to be fun to paint. And it was all very intimidating for me, so I just kept putting it off, or making things that were small but not technically a mini. And that's how I fell in love with big walking houses, and I do love making big walking houses in tabletop scales. But I also wanted to make figures. And this year I kind of decided to go in with no fear and tackle all the stuff in art that makes me uncomfortable, makes me hesitant, makes me afraid I'll make something bad that I won't be proud of. And I'm really, really glad I did. Okay.
My bit of hobby advice would be just do it. Don't be too much of a perfectionist about it. Just make stuff, because the more things you make, the better it'll be. And being a perfectionist all the time, it just doesn't help.
My advice is this. You should try to work with as many different people as possible, from all walks of life, from all different demographics, ages, gender, location, because there's something to learn from everyone. And you should be really proud of what you make, whether you're just starting out or whether you think it's good or whether you think other people would be interested or not. Your voice really matters. So you should shout from the rooftops whenever you make something, every time. Because you never know who out there might need to see what you've made, or who you might inspire to make something, or who you might give permission to start a project. The internet has filled with so many perfect things, so many perfect people, so many perfect projects, and the world needs less perfection in it, because it means more people doing stuff, and that's what's important. I think that's it. Make weird things and make a ruckus about it.
Give fewer fucks. If it's wrong, find a greebly, stick it on it.
One piece of advice I'd say, it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, I literally use putty and little cheap army men now, and toys are massive as well. Cheap toys, broken toys, second-hand toys. You can just go crazy and make what you want.
A bit of advice for somebody who's thinking about making some molds: make everything chunky, as chunky as you can. Compromise your artistic vision and just make everything super chunky. You know, thick thighs save lives. Thick thighs save you having snaps and bubbles. Just make everything as chunky as you can. Chunk it up. Add some extra detail. Put a pouch in. Trent doesn't like that, but put a pouch in. Put a boil in. Think of a detail. Make the bum bigger. You know, like, don't have spindly legs. And you can do this all at the design stage, because you're like, right, okay, I'm going to design something. I'm going to design this cool figure. I want to do this like wisp. No, I'm going to do a troll instead. Both of which are as cool. I'm going to do an undead troll, and all his guts are going to be hanging out. So then I'm going to make sure the guts like are chunky down to the ground. Chunky.
There is something very particular about this hobby. You can take it as something as simple as you playing with toys, moving little pieces of toys on the table, or you can take it as you are creating a narrative, something, a mythos. That is something very important for human beings, because we have gone so far just because of that. Because we as a species, I think we are the only species that we are able to create like abstract concepts and histories and believe in them, even knowing that they don't exist. You can play with toys and move toys around, or you can think that those toys have a story. So you can take it from the minimal, which is toys, or the maximum, which is creating a amazing story that I can share with you, and we can both play into that fake reality.
Sure.